Pitch to White. He's in! Patriots win the Super Bowl!
Welcome to Patriots Touchback Podcast.
It's been a very long time since we last done this podcast. For 18 months now, and we have never ever been in the same room together. Welcome everyone to the Patriots Touchback Podcast, live in Frankfurt. The entire crew is all here. Myself, Luke, Nick, DJ, we are all here. Please make sure you're smashing a like on the video. You're hitting the subscribe button while you're at it. You follow us on all our social media platforms, and you follow us on our podcast on Spotify as well. We are here for the Patriots Colts preview game for tomorrow afternoon.
Can I just say, this ball feels underinflated. I think it's been weather affected.
This is not a prop, by the way. This is a legitimate
I think
this ball is actually very, very deflated. So,
but we won't make a gate out of it.
No, we won't make a gate out of it. Let's carry on. Gentlemen, it's been a long, long time since, the first episode we've done. It's all been all online. And this is the first time ever that we were in one room in person.
All together,
All together. How are we all doing?
All good, yeah.
All good.
I'd prefer it to be a better season. I prefer the Patriots to be performing better, but you can't get everything. So having a good time. Yeah. And when the Patriots are on your doorstep, you might as well get it.
Well, they're sort of on our doorstep, but it's closer than we have to go to fly to Boston anyway. DJ, you arrived here very late last night.
Last night, yeah. Buzzing. I was looking forward to it for the last 6 months, is it? More or less, since we started planning it and booking it. And it's finally happened, and it's just sort of surreal. It really is.
It is. And Luke, obviously, it's great to see you at long last, the pessimistic leprechaun.
I'm delighted to be here. I have to say shout out to Nick because he organised and pretty much paid for the whole thing.
Yeah.
So big shout out to Nick.
Big shout out to Nick as well.
So no, delighted to be here. And if I'm a leprechaun and I'm taller than you, what's that?
Just a midget, really. Okay, gents. So we'll go into the preview with this Colts game for tomorrow a little bit later on, but let's have a discussion on the actual franchise itself, because I would say it's in a state of flux, but it's a lot more dire straits than anything else. We sit as a 2-7 team, the worst team in the AFC, and let's not sugarcoat it. We are the worst team in the AFC. Some people said we're the worst team in the NFL.
Not quite, but not far from it.
I think Carolina are worse than us. I think Arizona are worse than us. And I would probably argue that the Bears are worse than us, but that's it.
Broncos?
No, I think the Broncos. I think the Broncos are about our level at the moment.
I think if we were to play tomorrow, I think the Broncos. I think Russell Wilson is playing a bit better than he was last year. And I think that would be the difference. I don't rate Russell Wilson at all, but I think he's probably at the point now where he's kind of come back a bit under Peyton. I think they started off the year poorly, but he's been okay. He's not been the reason that they haven't.
Yeah, I mean the first year at the Broncos, Wilson turned up having put 8 kilos of muscle on. Well, he turned up to pre-season this year and he'd lost all that 8 kilos because he admitted himself that those 8 kilos of muscle that he put on just completely and utterly severed his ability to move. So he lost that 8. So he's come back under Sean Payton, the 8 kilos lighter than he was the previous year, and you can see it. You can see an improvement in his movement, an improvement in his mobility to move around in the pocket or break out left or right. I don't think the Broncos' problems this year are as much Russell Wilson related as they were last year. Yeah, but again, it takes time to, Sean Payton's come in and even he said, I can't work miracles in one offseason. I don't think you'll see the best of the Broncos and Sean Payton for another 2 years. But you can guarantee Sean Payton is a man that will get there eventually.
But that's it. They're all the teams that are.
They're the only other teams.
You see us on paper, and I don't think we're a 2-7 team.
No, I think
On paper, I think we're miles
exactly
better.
where we are.
I think we're exactly where we are for the performance.
You have to look at
Performance, yeah, but on paper, as in like
I think
players
there's
and
very
etc.
little
I
talent
don't
there.
think we're a 2 and 7.
You think we're worse
No, I think we're better.
on paper.
Yeah, I honestly
That's a
think on
talent
paper.
poor team.
It's a talent. Here's the thing. Since there was something that I watched
It's
earlier
injuries.
on today from First Things First, okay, and that was since Brady's left, what has Belichick done on the offensive side of the ball, which has got to this point, and that's through draft, through free agency, and coaching hiring. What positive can you see from that? Because most of the signings have been a post Cam Newton era. So yeah, John Smith coming hasn't exactly worked. Hunter Henry has sort of worked and has not. He's been a fine tight, not the best, but he has been a fine tight end.
Yeah.
You know, we got Juju Smith-Schuster in. We've pulled our hair out because of Jacoby Myers. Kendrick Bourne, probably the best out of our bunch, you could say, but when he's on the field. And then the coaching hiring has all been Bill's friends. It's not been anyone that can sort of elevate the team or the squad in any way, shape, or form, because it's been Josh McDaniels, which I think in Mac's rookie season got a tune out of him and was able to progress him a bit. But we all know the reason why Mac was so good was the playbook was condensed so much, and able to do basic plays. He was able to. He said, "Just be game manager, don't turn the ball over," and that was how good Mac was.
I think the way I look at it and the way I, sort of like try to make peace with the situation we find ourselves in as much as I can. In that, if you watch over the last 3-4 years, Bill has been through the draft. He has been building the defense. It's always been big defensive players. Some of them have worked out, like Barmore, for example. Perkins, unfortunately, he was injured, but he's gone to Denver, But Bill's been building the defense for the last 4 years, knowing that he's had Josh McDaniels on the offensive side of the coach, and he's just said, Josh is good. Look, there is no denying Josh is a bad head coach. Okay, some coordinators are not built to be head coaches. And Josh is one of those. He is probably one of, if not the best, offensive coordinator in the game today. But he's not a head coach. And what Bill has done is Bill has been able to say to Josh, "Here is your offensive line. Do whatever you need to do, rustle up whatever play you need to rustle up to make that work." And he's had faith in Josh to be able to do that. And so he's been able to build the defense quietly and keep building and keep building and keep building. So now I don't actually think we've got a bad defense as a roster. We've got quite a reasonable, if not good, defense. The problem is we are pathetic on offense. We have not got any quality. It is now time to spend draft and free agency picks with 100 million in your pocket on the offense. And with no Josh, you're seeing how crucial Josh was to the roster and how much of what was good with the Patriots going forward since Brady left was Josh pulling things out of his ass to make things work. And as soon as Josh went to the Raiders, you started seeing, you could see the problems. Now,
Also, you got the brain drain of guys that left with him to go to the Raiders as well. You had a lot of tenured coaches within the Patriots organization that obviously got promotions to go to the Raiders.
I mean, I know there's that rumor that Bill might go to Washington and go and get Josh and get Matty P back and the dream team. I tell you, if Washington are willing to give Bill the time, that will be a mean team in 5 years time. But whether they're willing to you need to give Bill Belichick time. But hey, that's a whole different.
I see Billy O'Brien leaving at the end of the season.
He will. He'll end up in a head coaching role in the NCAA somewhere.
Josh might get his old role back.
I think so. There's potential there.
But I don't know. He's not in no rush to accept anything at the moment. Because
I think the thing is, he's exactly. He'll be one of those things. He'll be hired as an offensive. What do they call it? Consultant.
Yeah,
it's a consultant.
So that he can still collect his paycheck and get paid 20 grand by the Patriots or something, paid minimum wage, an offensive consultant.
Yeah, it just begs to believe how this team has fallen so much. Yes, okay, we had 20 years of dominating every team in the NFL, and we've won 6 Super Bowls in the process of that. But you know, at the end of the day, that you have to pay the piper at some point, and now we are paying for it in the worst way possible by completely falling flat on our face at 2-7 now. A lot of people have been turning around and saying that this game against the Colts could be must win. Not, I wouldn't say it's must win for Mac Jones, but he has to be the one who has to start pulling the magic. Pardon the pun, because we're playing the Colts here, the magic horseshoe out of his backside. But
yeah, we and you had a private conversation about that off camera. I think as a team, our must win was the Saints game, because you'd lost against the Dolphins and the Eagles, which you were kind of like expecting that was going to happen.
But we put up good. But in those 2 games, we put up good
yes,
fights.
Yes, we did, and that's where you was like, right, okay, Dallas are coming. These guys are beatable. If you play like you played against the Eagles and the Finns, you know, I could see us beating the Cowboys. We didn't. We got absolutely battered.
We got battered, yeah.
So it was like the Saints has to be that game. We beat the Jets, and it was like, right, let's go, and it was just the Saints game to be blown out and not score at all. That was the one that sucked the life out of the season. And I think from there, you kind of accepted it was not going to be anything good, and you weren't tanking, but you were like, you're going to have to go on some sort of run. And as we just got loss after loss, the Washington game just accepted that, Raiders as well. I was ready to throw in the towel after the Raiders game, and as soon as we lost against Washington, that was, what did we call it? Embrace the tank.
Yeah.
Because all you're going to do by winning now, all you're going to do is hurt your draft selection. So I'm all for beating the Jets at home. That's like a season must. Beat the Jets at home. But other than that, if we lose every game from here to the end of the season, so be it.
What about tomorrow?
I'd like to see a win tomorrow, just because I'm there, just because we're there, But I won't sit here and cry if we lose.
No, you go as soon as you walk into that stadium. You go in there 100% committed that you want to win. So you shut your mouth when we're playing, and then we cheer when we finally get a conversion of a 3rd or 4th down. If we do get conversion of 3rd or 4th down, because it's been absolutely shocking.
But then deep down, I'm like,
I think it's kind of these things, like in a vacuum for every game individually. I want us to win every game.
Yeah.
And then by Monday morning comes around, I kind of go, glad, actually, probably big scheme of things, I'm glad we lost that. And that continues up until about Saturday evening, and then I kind of go, all right, tomorrow I want to win. And it's just a fan.
It's just like Nick says, if we win, it just dents that. You don't want to go any higher than we currently are on the draft. Where are we picking now?
4th currently.
I mean,
you're going to get someone big at 4th.
The Bears were in a no-lose situation on Thursday. Because if they beat Carolina, that just improved the Carolina draft stock that they're going to get anyway. And if Carolina beat them, it just improved so the Bears were in a no-lose game on
If you look at it, the Bears have got Carolina as obviously the 1st round pick because Carolina traded DJ Moore to them.
But Arizona are in the middle, aren't they?
There's a long way to go yet. It's gonna change. I don't think having the Giants lost Daniel Jones, I think it's safe to say that the top 4 picks will be Arizona, Bears twice, and Giants in whatever order that's going to be. I think the highest Patriots will probably end up picking is 5.
Yeah,
I think with that you're stuck.
Williams will have gone, May will have gone, and Harrison Jr. will have gone. They are the 3 certainties that are going to go. Yeah, because
I think they will.
If Williams goes to Arizona or Bears, May is going to go to the Bears or Arizona or the Giants.
I think you have to.
I just think they'll go off Justin Fields.
Kyler Murray and Justin Fields will be available.
I'll take Fields.
I'd take a rookie.
You take the rookie. So you
take
take a rookie. You take
Fields.
Fields. I'm on the fence with either.
I would stay with Mac. I would stay. Listen. No, hear me out. The reason being,
It's fine.
as I've just said, there's been nothing on the offensive line. He's had no weapons and he's had no protection. If you spend free agency on 2 good wide receivers and you pay them good wide receiver money, with what's left, you can re-sign Kyle Duggar and you can get yourself a good guard. And then you can go into the draft, and with your first, even if you end up at 5, for argument's sake, you could probably pick up a pick and drop to 6 and still get a good, maybe the top lineman or the second best. Use the first 3 rounds of the draft, whatever stock you've got, get your offensive line, because we've got Brown's out of contract, Owenyu's out of contract, Uche's out of contract. You've only got these new Maffey. You've only got the new guys and the guys that aren't good enough, the Andersons, the Reeves. These are the guys you've got left. So you need to go and you need to go big. Unless you are going to go big on the offensive line in free agency, which is not the way to go, then spend your draft picks on the offensive line. We have just said that Bill's been spending 4 years building his defense. It's now time to build the offense. I agree. Give Mac one more year. He's got his 4th year anyway. Give him this year. Here we are. We've given you a line that can protect you. We've given you weapons to hit. If he doesn't do it, you're not going to be far off picking low down again, which means you could get a quarterback
But the
in a
problem
year's
is
time.
I don't know. The only quarterback I know of who could be is potential legitimate for the 2025 draft will be Shedeur Sanders. That'll be the only. But I don't think Arch Manning. I don't think Arch Manning is ready to be.
No, it's not.
He won't.
26.
Yeah,
He's not going to go to the Patriots either. He will be the. When you think about it, Eli has been the only person to come up and say, "I'm not going there."
Yeah.
Nobody. Mike Florio says this all the time about the draft, about how more players should stand up and say, "No, I don't want to go there." Because if you are a good player, you get picked at the top, you go to the worst team. Your hope is that you have to be a hidden good player that gets picked mid-round, like a Mahomes, or God forbid, like a Brady, or gets picked so deep, But the players who are known to be the world beaters, to be the best players, get ended up shoveling down on a bad team, and they don't get the careers their talents deserve. I can guarantee you, Arch Manning will be the man who, after Eli, says, "I'm not going there." I guarantee it. Guarantee it. He will not go. Whenever Arch Manning comes into the draft, whether it's 25 or whether it's 26, I guarantee you, if he doesn't want to go where he's being touted, he will say, "No, I'm not going there."
I think for the draft, I mean, I get that we need to build the wide receiver core. I just don't see us going for a wide receiver that high up in the draft after Harrison goes. So I'm thinking we're going to go O-line. That Fashion looks decent, and I think he'll fall around.
Is he with Fashion or is going to be the left tackle out of Notre Dame? Was it
out? Joe out?
Joe out too? Antu, yeah.
And we probably invest wide receiver core in the free agency where you've got T. Higgins. I think
Mike Evans.
You pay him. Evans, I don't think he'll come. I reckon he'll be in search for another ring, but I don't think he'll come.
He won't get another ring unless he goes to Kansas City.
I'd say someone like T. Higgins, bring him in, experience, ready to go, younger.
The biggest problem is that we're sitting here, right, and we're going T. Higgins, and it's been a popular Patriots fans refrain. We'll get T. Higgins in the offseason. And there are probably another 10, 12 sets of fans going the same exact same thing. Sorry, we'll get T. Higgins in the offseason.
Depends on the money.
He's going to know where the money is.
Yeah.
And do you think the Patriots?
No, but
I think it's who's in charge.
It does depend.
So, yeah.
Well,
it won't be Bill. If that's the case, it won't be Bill.
There will be a conversation between Kraft and Belichick in the off season because basically, as we said a couple of weeks ago on the pod, what did Kraft say at the start of the season? We want to put out a much more better product than what we did from last season, and sadly, there's not even been close to it. Here's the thing I'll throw out there. So you look at the draft. So if you look at Khalid Williams and you look at Drake May, they're going to be off the board probably by the time we go. I've already advocated about there's 2 other quarterbacks on the board, and they're both questionable to me. One of them is obviously JJ McCarthy, Michigan Wolverines, and I already said he looks a little bit like Zach Wilson. The only thing that'll make me change my mind is if the Wolverines end up winning the NCAA championship.
That's the thing. Wolverines haven't had a strong enough schedule yet. I think hold off on him on that.
Well,
last
the
game. I
only
think
player, the
they're
team
coming
that got
down.
really beat is
They're
Ohio
coming
State, and we kicked their last
They're
last 2
Ohio
seasons
State's
anyway. So just say
I'll
sorry,
have-
Buckeye fans.
I'd wait a bit for.
JJ, and the other one is Oregon's Bo Nix.
What about Penix?
That's who I think.
Or Penix as well. Penix, but I think
Penix.
Penix will go late first round. Someone's going to nab him up late first round.
I'll take him then. I'd draft. I'd go up and get him.
You can't. If you want to trade for
Get
a
the
QB
second.
and get a Fields or get a Murray, whatever, but don't go
Murray,
blowing
his
draft stock on a QB when you know you need to pack that new line.
But if you keep holding Mac, then it's a
That's
different
why I
story.
sit
That-
Penix behind Matt for a year.
This
And
is
then-
this is what I'm saying. You've got one more year of Matt, but he has never had the weapons or the protection. Give him that and give him. You saw his rookie year,
Have
right?
you seen his noodle?
I've seen his noodle line, yeah. But what I'm saying
That's
is,
not fixable.
Yeah, that's not.
But we also,
You can give him weapons
Yeah,
and you can give him an O-line.
the thing is though, we've also discussed it as well, Nick. You know, the age of the pocket passer is now is pretty much officially
Yes.
dead, and the only quarterback right now, although he's injured, that really is a pocket passer but is still legitimately decent is actually Kirk Cousins, and
Yeah.
you've already said this as well regarding Kirk Cousins. So
Again, he's another option on the veteran.
he'll stay in
One
Minnesota.
year.
I think we
He's
both
gonna
we
stay.
both agree he'll stay in
he's
Minnesota.
happy in Minnesota. I think he's
That's who
happy to
Minnesota
sign.
want.
He's happy to sign a lucrative year-to-year deal and stay in Minnesota.
I think as well with Cousins, I agree exactly with what you're saying, but just add another reason why he wouldn't come to the Patriots. What incentive does he have to come to the Patriots other than money? Because he wants to win a ring.
He's got
I
better.
also think
He's got
that-
better receivers to throw to.
Yeah.
Justin
He-
Jefferson, TJ Hawkinson, KJ Osborne. He's gone.
and Addison as well. He has a much better chance of winning in Minnesota. But even if he does go somewhere else, and I actually think that the Vikings have intimated that he won't be back. But I don't think he would come to us because he's been paid very well throughout his career. There would be no incentive for him to come to us because he wants to win a ring. I don't think he's good enough to win a ring. But that's my opinion. But he would want to go to somewhere that's more set up to win now. He's 38. He's coming off a season-ending injury, albeit an Achilles.
Family situation as well. I think
Yeah.
they're quite young.
Yeah, that's what. Funnily enough, that's what I was about to say. His family situation, in that he said in an interview, I can't remember whether it was a Vikings interview or whether it was
So
an
that
NFL.
quarterback one.
It might have been on the quarterback
quarterback
series.
show.
He said that he's happily settled in Minnesota. His family are here; they're all settled. He has no reason
Tensions
to
going.
want to go anywhere. If that's why I say it wouldn't surprise me if he signs a 1-year deal with the Vikings, and then
Cheap one.
next year maybe signs another 1-year deal. He doesn't want to be tied to the Vikings anymore, but he's happy where he is right now. And I think year-to-year deals with the Vikings will suit
Team-friendly
him,
deals.
and it's how long they suit the Vikings will be how long he stays.
He might do 1 year and retire
He might do.
because he's what 38.
Yeah, he's
Give it
playing-
any
he's playing
39.
very well.
He might say, "Look, I'm
And
done."
and his agent has earned him enough money as it already is.
This way, he might come back as a 1-year deal, cheap, team-friendly deal.
Oh, it won't be
right
cheap.
off his career.
He'll earn his.
Oh yeah, but I'm saying it won't be a lucrative deal of like.
Realistically, he's off the board for Patriots.
Yeah,
He's
I'd
not
say
something we should consider. Just to I suppose provide a counterpoint to yours, Nick, and I think whilst I don't agree with you,
That's okay. You can disagree.
but
It's okay to disagree with
It's a
him.
podcast.
But whilst I don't agree with you, I actually the way you've laid it out, I completely respect and see it. I just think for me, I think what we have to do is go. We hopefully this is us. I hope bottoming out, right, in terms of how bad we are.
Yeah, you can't
Hopefully-
see it getting worse this year. Well, I mean, it will
No,
get worse
no,
this year,
don't
but
get
we
it
don't
next
want
Next year, I don't see us getting worse. If you want to start the franchise, not start the franchise, if you want to start progressing upwards like this, rather than gently sloping up, kind of what we did after Cam Newton when we got Mac Jones, you need to be picking one of the best. You need to be picking a rookie quarterback that allows you to have that rookie quarterback contract to be able to build
Around him.
talent around him. Mac Jones, I admit, he has not had the talent put around him.
And he hasn't had the protection either.
And he hasn't had the protection. But I've also seen enough from him to say that if he was surrounded by all that, he is not good enough. He cannot drive the ball outside the numbers. He cannot make the throws. He's not elusive in the pocket. He's scared. And he's been David Carr from the Texans.
I know. And my issue is you cannot do everything at once. You cannot build a Super Bowl winning. I know we're a Super Bowl winning franchise, and I know we're the greatest franchise to ever exist. But you cannot build a Super Bowl winning team in one draft, 2 drafts. It takes time. But you've got to say, where is our biggest problem right now?
Quarterback.
No, I don't think it is, because you've got he showed in his rookie year that if you give him a weapon or you give him some protection, he is good enough to get you the win. You just said about a climb. If you start picking in the middle of the draft, I admit you're not going to get a world-class quarterback. Okay, it's difficult to it probably is a bit easier to get a good lineman at middle of the draft.
Yep.
But right now, as bad as the Patriots are, we have to accept that our protection and the weapons that our QB is throwing to are worse than the QB position itself. And again, if you want to disagree, that is fine. But that is we had, me, you, and DJ had a conversation on another podcast about. We were talking about whether you build outwards. Do you remember we were talking about whether you build outwards or whether or whether you build inwards out? And I said on that podcast, I was an advocate for building outwards in. Get the protection in place, get your wide receivers in place, get a year-to-year quarterback if you have to, just to put on, and then get your QB. And you said, and I remember you saying, but if you keep building like that, you're going to slowly step back in the draft so that you never get in that QB. And I understand that. But if you have got the pieces in place, what's to say you can't sacrifice a draft in the future to get the QB you need at some point?
You can, but it's also it's also extremely difficult. And the better you are, the more it's going to cost you. So this is what I'm saying is you bottom out. I'm not saying you build the team up immediately. You get your quarterback. You're also picking high again in the second. Maybe you package a second and a third, and you start. What you do is you start mortgaging the 2025 and 26 drafts to 2025 draft to move up in this draft to get that as much talent as you can. You have 100 million in free agency. You double dip in the first round. Maybe you get that tackle.
In the last 3 games, I don't think the offensive line have played badly.
Exactly,
they've protected him quite.
He's been well protected.
But again, he has no weapons in the wide receiver option, and then his arm is just not really
bar probably at best Kendrick Bourne, and if you really wanted to pull strings, maybe Demario Douglas. But again, he is still a rookie. But we've all agreed that Demario Douglas, out of everyone that's on that field, is probably the only talented receiver that we currently have. And with a little bit more nurturing and probably with a season as well, he might end up becoming that. He might end up becoming that elusive receiver. Okay, let's have a talk about this preview, shall we? Because the Colts are, I think they're sitting at 4-4 right now. Is it currently stands? They're sitting at 4-4. Want to check on the table? Yeah, 4-4. No Anthony Richardson, done for the season. We have to take on another quarterback who is a journeyman, but is also a decent journeyman, you can say.
And just to finish up on the point from earlier, Gardner Minshew is better than Mac Jones.
That's debatable, but I'll let you tell.
I think it's debate. I think it's debatable, but I think he is.
Put your comments down in the section below if you believe Gardner Minshew.
I would
the Mac
prefer
Jones,
to have
please.
Gardner Minshew because he's also not. He's working with slightly better weapons than Mac Jones is, and he's still and he's able to put points up on the board. Putting points up on the board is not
He
his
can move the
problem.
ball. He can move the ball, but the Colts also don't have a
Mac
legitimate.
Jones can't move the ball.
Colts don't have really a legitimate receiving core either. If you take Michael Pittman Jr. out of it, there isn't really anyone.
And even Pittman
however, there
isn't
is a rookie called
Downs,
there is a
is
rookie
it?
called Josh Downs. Yeah, agreed. There's a rookie
Yeah.
called Josh Downs, but apparently from what I heard from Ian Rappaport, he's 50-50 to play, but it's more likely to be less than that because he hasn't practiced all week. So there's a good chance he might be downgraded to out. If it is, then you put your best corner on Michael Pittman, and then you let others take over him. Although
Who's our best corner?
I don't. It
We're having to
probably
leave
is
one
Jack
at home.
Jones. It probably is Jack Jones. Could be left because so obviously
injury scratch as well.
No, Jonathan.
I was Jonathan Jones, but Jonathan we respect
It'd be Shane Wade and Jack Jones.
Sean Wade.
Sean Wade.
Sean.
I tell you what, I've been telling myself for the last 10 minutes. Remember, it's Jonathan Taylor, not JJ Taylor. It's Jonathan Taylor, not JJ.
So, yeah.
And now I go and do it with one of the.
That's another point. We need to stop that.
So a corner. So obviously JC Jackson's out. Trent Brown is obviously out as well, and so is Devontae Parker, which is not really anything to write home about, to be honest. So our corners coming into this game is going to be Jack Jones, Jonathan Jones, Sean Wade, and Miles Bryant.
Alex Austin as well as on the roster.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. He's been elevated to the roster. It looks. I mean, he's. I think he was drafted, but I think he's like 7th round pick. Yeah, he's not doing it.
Yeah. So, but the one player to keep an eye on this Colts team is none other than a running back by the name of Jonathan Taylor. The last time we played the Colts, he completely decimated us on the ground. I think it was like over 150 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. I think he got in that game. That was the epitome of not being able to stop the run. And I think, and what we already know about this Patriots team already is the fact we can't play from behind. So I mean, as much as
we can't play from in front
because Washington we went up 10 0. We
still
lost.
without Mac Jones turning the ball over, the thing is, when Mac's not turned the ball over, we've won games. And so far, we've won 2 of them.
Our best performance is from kickoff to first play of the first drive. That's about our best performance.
When
The walk.
kicks it out at the end zone.
If we get from the sideline to the centre of the field and not trip up over ourselves, we just call that the status quo, really. But try and have some optimism for this game because it is. A lot of people say it's a 50-50 game. The Colts are favoured by 1.5. I think it is, which is basically nothing. By a safety, if you want to call it. How do we try and win this game? Because it's easier said than done, but
to me, it's simple game plan. It's just simple plays. Someone's open, bang, straight to him. But nothing, no long balls or anything. Although the long ball situation with Mac last week was there, but the wide receivers weren't. So, but I think it's just short plays. Maybe try and get a running game on as well. But again, that's been a
you
difficult
saw
situation
bits of
for
the
us.
running game last week in a game against Washington, but that was a broken cover. That was a broken
coverage.
bust from Andre Stephen on that 64-yard touchdown.
Good game.
But this Colts team is ranked 5th worst in the league stopping the run. They are not good at stopping the run. So I think if New England want to get out early, you utilize that running game. Don't give. You haven't got the receivers to it, bar maybe Demario Douglas and Hunter Henry, maybe Mike Gesicki, but Gesicki's a red zone target. You're not going to see him have many catches in the field. Oh, good grief! You know how I feel about Judy's issues. But we're going to need some good performances from these receivers massively. It's going to be one of those games where if you utilize the run and get in front, then you put the ball in Minshew's hands. Is that a pick your poison type of scenario, because if you try and stop the run or you stop Minshew from passing, I pretty much know which one I would go for, and that's stopping Jonathan Taylor at all costs.
Yeah.
But they do have a second down back in Zach Moss, who, when JT was out, was running everyone into the ground. So, there's something to be careful about.
I think the thing is that we do actually have a decent run stuffing defense this year. It's been one of our strengths, and it's one of the only thing we can really hang our hat on as a team is that we've been good against the run. So it's kind of our best going against their best.
Yeah.
So it'd be very interesting. I think that's kind of the key to the game is like which, what shows up. Is it their run attack or our run defense? So that's kind of, to me, how the game will be won and lost. I don't think it'll be won in Minshew or Mac Jones' hands. I think it'll be how effectively you can stop the run or they can execute on the run play. I was going to say I was going to give a prediction, but we'll wait to the end.
We'll wait to the end for the prediction. I just feel
they
like
have rookie corners as well. They're starting. Their cornerbacks are very weak, but then I would say they're very weak, and so are our wide receivers. And I think they probably wouldn't have struggled too much with, even though they're rookies and they're green. I don't think they'd have struggled too much when we had all our starters out there. Now we don't even have really our starters out there. I think it's Juju and Demario Douglas, and who else is there? Tyquan Thornton, who's, if you can, I've never watched a receiver. I would say as a defensively minded person, where you're kind of watching somebody on tape, you can see how bad they are at running routes. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you can just, like, if somebody says, "Oh, he's a bad route runner," I'd be like, "Okay, I don't know. Does he cut his route off at 5 instead of 7 yards or whatever?" But I've never seen somebody that is so quick in a straight line, and then when he tries to change direction,
Well, do you want to demonstrate how to run a comeback route? Like,
it's just so. I've run many a comeback route. And
You're not doing it in
we're not going to do it in the building. We've got the ball here. We just need someone to throw it to.
I can get up when I need to.
I think we just need to establish their weakness point. And that's where we need to pinpoint. Like Brady would have probably 100% gone for those quarterbacks, their rookie quarterbacks, and he would have all day just been throwing to their direct.
Yeah.
But we need to.
I don't Brady. The thing is, as well, is that they have a very good linebacking core with Franklin and Leonard and EJ Speed. So I was nearly going to suggest, what we can do is maybe kill tight ends and maybe get Demario Douglas out in space or Roger Stevenson out in space. That's feeding into their defensive strength, which is actually going sideline to sideline and not stopping the run up the middle, but stopping those kind of intermediate plays between the 5 yards. That's what they're actually good at, which again plays against our passing strength, which is when we do pass well, it's within 5 to 7 yards or behind the line of scrimmage most. That's the only pass we can.
It's basically dinking and dunking, but then again, when you've got good offensive lines and good blocking schemes to actually gain this because of the yak.
I think, like DJ was saying, yes, our protection was poor the last first 5 games here. The last 3 games, in particular, Evan Lazar breaks down the film really well, and he says that the protection has not been an issue for the last 3 games.
And they're getting healthier. You've got Strange back. You've got So looks decent for
he's
like a start, almost now going for a start.
And
Brown, Mike. You've got
Conor McDermott came in a pinch last week. Yeah. He got signed pretty much off the street, I think, the week before. Started at left tackle, and I think he gave up one pressure or one sack. He wasn't the reason that we lost the game.
No.
Which our offensive line has been, and I would agree, because I know we chat to other people as well. They've said the protection has been poor, and it absolutely has been as an overall season. But the trend the last 3 weeks, not been the reason we're losing.
It's not been the reason we're losing. What's everyone's prediction?
Defeat.
Yeah, I think
I
we'll
go for a
lose. We go around.
Mr. Optimist, Mr. Optimist.
It's coming.
Put your hair
The win is coming. The win is coming. It's
Go on, give us a score.
Give us a
so.
score prediction.
I'm going to go 21-23 overtime.
Oh,
Safety and
a
overtime.
safety note? No, Chad
21-20.
Ryland kicking the field.
21-23.
Chad
22
Ryland
point
kicking
game.
a 52-yard to actually say, no, we're fine like it. But we don't need it for.
Overtime.
Go on,
Yeah.
then.
That'd be bold to call it safety and overtime.
Oh,
Who gets the safety?
17. Why? What do you mean? Oh, no,
Who gets the safety?
as in like.
Which one of our
Keon
defensive
White.
players gets?
Oh, right, yeah.
Keon
White.
White. You read my mind there because he needs a big
On
game.
Minshew.
Go on, Nick.
I reckon we need a good pass rush as well to keep Minshew on his toes. Right? Don't allow him outside the pocket. And just
Christian Barmore's been a train.
Wise.
Christian
White
Barmore's
need
been
to be
a
on
absolute
par.
wrecking ball in his last two games.
Needs a game as well.
Go on, Nick. Go on, Nick.
17-20 or 17-21
To the Colts.
to the Colts. I can't
That
make
sounds like a fair score.
I think, you know, I can maybe seeing us getting 20, but so I would say 17-20 or 20-24, but I think the Colts are gonna win it by a handful of points. Field goal or just over. I just can't. I want to be able to. I would love to embrace my inner Henrik. I would love to be able to sit here, glass half full, and say, But I said weeks ago that if the Raiders game, the Washington game, that was the start where you could put a run together, and we have put a run together. Only it's the wrong one.
It's the wrong sort of run.
And I'm not in complete and utter throwing mode, but I am in the point of, if you win now, you're going to hurt your draft stock. If we win today, great. That means I get to see a win live in person, and I won't be bothered.
International series.
And I won't be bothered if we do win. I'll be happy that we won. But I can't see us winning. I think it's a defeat. But I don't think we're going to get blown out. So I think it's a 17-20.
What about you, Luke?
20-13, or if we maybe stretch to 20-17 or 21-17. I think I'm kind of in and around
I
similar to
personally
you.
see this coming down to a field goal. I mean, if New England can stop it, then I don't think it's going to come down to a field goal. And I'm going to say 17-14 Colts. I would pick my Pats to win, but I think we can all be homers right now and turn around and say, that's the microphone. And that is, I just look at it. It's just going to be a tight game. It's going to be an incredibly tight game, and there is going to be some errors. I can see both teams turning the ball over here. Mm-hmm. But to what extent I've got no idea. But I'm going to go 17-14, tight. You're not going to get many touchdowns in this game at all. Yeah, it's going to be close. 17-14 Colts, I'm going to go for.
I think we're all kind of going for low scoring.
What's the line? Is it 44 and a half? Is it 43 and a half?
43 and a half.
43. I knew it was in that sort of like 43, 44 and a half range. I don't think I would take the under if you were offering it, because I don't think there's going to be more than that. So I do think it's going to be a low scoring.
If there's more than 40 points in the game, I'll be very surprised. I'll be very
That
surprised.
would be both teams scoring.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the bookies have it right.
Yeah.
I think they're hedging their bets small, but with maybe a defensive score going above 40. Maybe.
So I think even if it was 20-24, which, as I said, was one of the scores that you could maybe see, that's still 44 points. So I can't see it. I see it being an under. and low scoring game. I think it'll be a lot of midfield battles in the trenches, just punt, run. You run your plays, and you get 8 yards, you don't get the 10, or you might get a few 10-yard move, and you just move in that middle field section.
Be like a 360.
So.
Oh God! No, anyone remember that Thursday night debacle between the Colts and the Broncos? The Colts and the Broncos.
Well, I
didn't score until the last.
I know that Mark.
I think a YouTuber said during the game, it was 6 apiece. He goes, "If this game goes to overtime, Putin should just use the stadium for the greater good." Wow. This was at Denver.
Mark Sessler around the NFL. He's a big fan of scoregami and following. I don't know what the lowest score that's still yet to be nailed on. Would it be a 0-3? Or has that happened?
Yes,
it's 2-0.
0-2 maybe. No, 0-2 would be the first score. I think that has to be the lowest score that's still yet to be hit.
I think there's this really wild.
Go Google it. So the only one I remember it being 3-0 was obviously the monsoon game in Miami between the Steelers and the Dolphins. 2006. I think.
There's this really obscure rule in the NFL, and I am completely open to correction this because this is coming from the depths of my brain somewhere, that if you go to kick a field goal gets blocked, returned beyond the line of scrimmage, fumbled, and then brought back for a score to the original field goal score, it's a 1 point attempt. Or if it's a 1 point attempt, so you can get 1 point. I think it's a really. I think there's
throughout the entire course of the NFL history, 73 games have ended 0-0.
Oh, is that not a scoregami? Wow.
Okay, well, yeah.
This has not happened since the Giants Detroit since 1943. Similarly, 5 NFL games have scored 2-0.
I think it's one of those things. What's the lowest score?
Closest, it's 3-0.
There you go, Steelers Dolphins.
No, it was Green Bay versus Bears.
Classic.
Of course, it would be that sort
In
of
1938.
Right, okay. It's going to be a low-scoring game. We'll go with that.
We'll go to a low-scoring game. Okay, we've got a little bit more time before we get on out of here.
I want to raise something, and I said I was going to do this, so I'm going to slip it. Where you flew in last night, so you were late back. What did we all do last night?
Well, I went to bed at 8:30, so I had 2 hours the night before.
I stayed in the bar and I had a few drinks. Luke, would you like to tell podcast where you went last night? Because you are a Patriots fan and whatever else. Where did you decide to go last night?
I went to the Colts party.
You went. Did you come home with any merch?
I got Colts scarf.
Who was there?
Jim Irsay was there. Adrian James was there.
Did he buy a drink?
He didn't. He bought the lads. I didn't get there. Yeah, it was fun. I had a great time, and I represented the Patriots. I was in there with my Patriots jacket on. Wow. And I was getting abuse, but friendly abuse from my friends. And I had to debate who the better quarterback was, and we got a Colts fan to admit that Brady was the better quarterback. So,
Was that at the time?
Was he drunk
or Andrew Luck?
He was very drunk. Of course, but I feel I went in there representing Patriots Nation, went belly of the beast, and I'm still standing.
Brave, incredibly brave. And I generally thought you'd get in there. They don't want to look at your jacket because you're wearing a Patriots jacket. Like, no, you're not coming in, mate. But apparently you got let in.
I was not the only.
Apparently they like death and destruction in Frankfurt, which is obviously.
I wasn't the only Patriots fan in there. There was a few other fans of other teams inside.
I'm not bothered by any other teams because people. I do remember going to a Falcons meetup when they played for the Jets. So I was there for the weekend, and I did actually walk in there. But the only reason why I walked in there was because the ATL Falcons UK guys I'm very good friends with, and they actually gave me a free pass to get in. So
I've been to a couple of Jags parties with the Jags being in London so often and being at Wembley and whatever. I've been into quite a few Jags. I'm not a hypocrite. I have never gone to a Jags party when the Patriots have been playing the Jags that weekend. You know, I
was just in there filming to see if they got any of their plays up on the board.
What did you expect them to do? Performing the plays on the stage?
So did you actually?
If they were,
did you get
I was
video
there.
camera? So did you get? Did you get video footage then?
I have a few pictures of them with some Colts cheerleaders.
Okay.
You jammy bastard.
No, who's jealous?
No, I'm not jealous. I've got many pictures with me with cheerleaders. I don't need any more. I've got my own cheerleaders.
Right.
That's said.
Gentlemen, it's taken a long while, but we finally get to meet each other for the first time, doing a podcast for the first time. We are going to get on out of here because we are now heading to the Patriots house.
Yeah, just before we go, I think it's a big shame that me and DJ tried to get Henrik, who was a big part of the podcast last year. But the timing of when we were doing the podcast and whatever meant that he couldn't make it. So, it's a shame that he couldn't get on. But yeah, he's still part of the crew.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wanted to come along, but he's wished us all well, and yeah, it's nice to.
He'll jump on soon.
Yeah, he will jump on soon, and it's nice to be here, and it's nice to enjoy the scenario
Absolutely.
that we find ourselves in.
And even though the touchdowns won't be flowing, the beers certainly will.
Yes, they will.
We can all agree with that one. That's the end of our show, guys. Thank you to everyone that has tuned in. Thank you to everyone that is going to be listening to us on Spotify later on. Make sure you hit a like on the video, subscribe to the channel while you're at it, follow us on our podcast, and follow us on all our social media platforms. And anybody in the city centre in Frankfurt, we will be at Patriots House at midday. So we will be wearing our merch. So come and say hi to us, come and to get pictures with us, and we'll have a few beers together. That's been DJ. That's been Nick. This has been Luke. My name is Karl. Thank you everyone who's watched the Patriots podcast. I don't know why that happened. And we're going out of here. Please, this is my first time watching my team play. This is what I've seen the Patriots play a couple of times now. Let's all hope for the win, even though most of us have predicted the loss. Peace out, people. Go Patriots.